This is the sequel to the previous episode of talking about how to learning a new for learning foreign languages. Uh, for previous episode, I uh, talk about tips from 12 tip from Tim Ferriss for 12 rule for learning a new language. And for this episode, I would like to talk about 22 tips for learning a foreign language from markmanson.net/foreign language. He suggests 22 tips, and I will start with number one, conversation. Three times: conversation, conversation, and conversation. He said, if there a secret of or hack to learning a new language, is this hour and hour of awkward and strenuous conversation with people better than in that language, an hour of conversation with correction and a direct dictionary for reference is as good as 5 hours in a classroom and 10 hours with a language course by yourself. He compare time when you spend with try to make a conversation with real people. It's better than for like passive learning, learning from in your classroom or take your class by not to make a conversation. He he uh, he suggests a way to learn from make a conversation. There's a few reasons for this. The first is motivation. He said, "I don't care how cool your study guy is, and you are going to be far more invested and motivated to communicate with the live person in front of you than a book or radio program on your computer." And number two, intensity of study trumps length of study. Intensity of study trumps length of study. He said, what I mean by this is the study a language 4 hours a day for 2 weeks. 4 hours a day for 2 weeks will be more beneficial. Will be more beneficial for you than studying 1 hour a day for 2 months. Not long, not long period with small pieces, but do it intense uh, in each day, just a short period. He suggests he prefer this way. He prefer this way. This is one reason why so many people take language courses in school and never remember anything. It's because they only study 3 or 4 hours per week, and often the classes are separate by multiple days. He suggests he prefer to learn lots in the day. Language requires a lot of repetition, lots of reference experiences, and a consistent commitment and investment. It's better to allot a particular period of your life, even if it's only 1 or 2 weeks, and really go at it 100% than to half-ass it over the course of months or even years. And number three, classes sucked and an inefficient use of time and money. All time considered, you get a really poor return from your time and effort in your group class. There are two problems. Number one is that class moves at the pace of its slowest student. This is a major problem that we found when we try to learn in the group class, that the class will move by speed of who is the lowest foundation that they have that they have And the second one is that language learning is very personal process. Uh, Everyone naturally learns some words or topics easier than others. Everyone naturally learns some words or topic easier than others. Therefore, a class is not going to be able to address each student's personal needs as well or in timely fashion. He suggests for one, we uh, might be not we might be not efficient by learning in the group class because of foundation of each person. And number two is uh, everyone have a kind of learning some of the topic or remember or trick to learn a new words differently, but the class didn't design it. The class are not designed to do like that. The next one, number four, start with the 100 most common words. Start with the 100 most common words. Tim Ferriss also suggests this advice as well. Not all vocabulary is made the same. Some gives you a better return on investment than others. I just learn for 20% of most used vocabulary. For instance, when I lived in Buenos Aires, Buenos Aires, I met a guy who had been studying in Rosetta Stone for a month. Uh, Not recommend as well on the team Ferris. I had been working have been working on and off with the tutor for weeks, but I was surprised by how he could not follow even the most basic of conversation despite months of study living there. Start with the 100 most common words and then make sentence with them over and over again. Start with the 100 most common words and make sentence with them over and over again. Learn just enough grammar to be able to do this and do it until you feel pretty comfortable with all of them. It's quite a good trip for me, this one. Okay, and number five, carry a pocket dictionary. Carry a pocket dictionary. He preferred dictionary. This made a much bigger difference than I expected. I carry an English-Spanish dictionary app on my phone and I use it all the time when I live in Spanish-speaking country. My first 2 weeks in Brazil, I was lazy and keep forgotten to download an English Portuguese application. I struggled I struggle in my conversation a lot during those 2 weeks, despite knowing basic Portuguese. Once I downloaded the dictionary, there was an immediate difference. Having it on your phone is great because it takes 2 seconds to look something up in the middle of conversation, right? And because you are using conversation, you are that much more likely to recall it later. Even sometimes, even something that simple affected my conversations and ability to interact with the great local great deal. Number six, keep practicing in your head. Practicing in your head. The author used for dictionary is that you can practice while going about your dad, while going about your day and not talking to anyone. Some days we might not find anyone else. Challenge yourself to think in new English. Uh, uh, Challenge yourself to think in the new language. You all have monologue, monologue running in our head, and typically they they run in our native tongue. You can continue to practice and construct sentence and fake conversations in your head in a new language. For instance, you can envision and practice a conversation about topic you are likely to have before you actually have it. You can begin to think about how you would describe your job and explain why you are in the foreign country in a new language. Inevitably, those questions will come up and you'll be ready to answer them. Beyond, like a pro prepare preparing it before it will come to you. Number seven, you are going to say lots of stupid thing. Accept it. You are going to say lots of stupid thing. Yes, yes, I also do. I also did, and I will keep doing it. When I was first learning Spanish, I once told a group of people that Americans put lots of condoms on their food. Later, I told a girl the basketball makes me horny. It's going to happen, trust me. Okay, everyone can make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. Number eight, figure out pronunciation patterns. All Latin-based language will have similar pronunciation patterns based on Latin words. For instance, any words that ends with tion, chin, in English will almost always end in cion in Spanish and cao in Portugal. English speakers are notorious for simply added o, e, or a to the end of the English word to say Spanish word they don't know. By stereotype aside, it's surprising how often it's correct. Destiny is destino, motive is motivo, part is parte, and so on. This is figure out how pronunciation pattern. And number nine, used audio and online courses for the first 100 words and basic grammar. After that, they should only be used for reference and nothing more. There are lots of study material out there. Uh, these courses are great for getting you from absolutely no ability in a language to being able to speak basic sentences and phrases within a few days' time. They are also good for teaching the most fundamental vocabulary such as I eat, you want, thanks, like this. But remember, the greatest return on investment in your language learning is focusing yourself to speak and communicate with others. Focusing yourself to speak and communicate with others. When you are sitting on your bedroom with a book or software program, you are not being forced to formulate meaning and significance in new language on the spot. Instead, you are encouraged to parrot and copy concepts and patterns you observe elsewhere in the material as mentioned before. I feel that these are two different types of learning and one is far more useful than the other. Trying to keep learning 100 words, first 100 words by audio and online course. Number 10, after the first 100 words, focus on becoming conversational. Becoming a conversational. Studies have shown that the most 100 words in any language account for 50% of spoken communication. The most common 1,000 words account for 80 of the spoken communication. The most 3,000 words account for 99 of communication. In other words, there are some serious diminishing returns from learning more vocabulary. I probably only know 500 to 1,000 words in Spanish, and in most conversation, I never have to stop and look up word in my phone. He said, and the basic grammar should get you speak fundamental sentence within matter of day, where is the restaurant, I wanna meet your friend, I wanna your sister, is you like the movie, and did you like the movie? The first 100 words is get you pretty far. Use them to get comfortable as possible with grammar, idiom, slang, constructing thoughts, joke, and ideas in the new language on the fly. Once you are able to joke consistently in the new language, that a pretty good sign. It's time to expand your vocabulary out. Lots of people attempt to expand their vocabulary too quickly and too soon. It's waste of time and effort because they are still not comfortable with the basic conversation about where they are from. War. And they are studying vocabulary about economics or medicine. It makes no sense. Number 11. Aim for the brain melt. Aim for the brain melt. You know how when you do a lot of intellectually intensive work for hours and hours on end, at some point your brain just feels like a lump of gravy. Shoot for the moment when learning language until you reach brain gravy stage. You probably aren't maximizing your time or effort. It's beginning. In the beginning, you will might melt within one or two. Later on, it may take entire night hanging out with locals before it happens, but it will happen. It's very good thing. Aim to aim for the brain melt. Number 12. How do you say to how do you say dot 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 is the most important sentence you can possibly learn. Learn it early and use it often. Learn it early and use it often. Wow, it's a good quote. No more. No no explanation. About 12. Number 13. One-on-one tutoring is the best and most efficient use of time. Of course, I agree. It also usually the most expensive use of time depending on the language and country. But if you have money, grabbing a solid tutor and sitting with him or her for a few hours every day is the fastest way to learn new language I've ever found. I'm 2 hours a day for a few weeks with tutor in Brazil got me at least respectable conversational level. I could go on a date with a girl who spoke no English and maintain conversation throughout the night without making too much of a fool of myself. Speaking of which, number 14, date someone who speaks the target language and not your native language. Talk about investment and motivation. You will be fluent in a month, and best of all, if you make them mad or do something wrong, you can claim that it was in translation. Number 15, if you can't afford someone cute who will put up you with you for the language party online. There is a number of websites of foreigners who want to learn English who would be willing to trade practice time in their native language for practice in your yes overview of language exchange websites and application reviewed by bilingual. Number 16, Facebook chat and Google translating is winning. Facebook chat, try to give people a chat and use the translate. Maybe I found my friend in the like foreigner people from Laos, people from Korea, people from Chinese, from China, and I found them and try to bring them for a chat in the different language like this. Number 17, when you learn a new word, try to use it a few times right away. When you learn a new word, try to use it a few times right away. A few times right away. When you stop and look up a new word in conversation, make a point to use it in the next 2 or 3 sentences you say. Language learning studies show that you need to hit a certain amount of repetitions of saying a word within the minutes or learning it within a minute, on hour of learning it on day. Oh, this is kind of repetition in minute, in hour, in day. And try to use it immediately a few times and then use it again later in a day. Chances are it will stick. Wow, it's a good tip. Number 18. TV shows, movie, newspaper, magazines are good supplementation, but they should not be mistaken or replacements for legitimate practice. When I was getting good Spanish, I made a point to watch a couple movies each week and read an article of El País each day. I was helpful for keeping me fresh, but I don't believe it was helpful as time spent in conversation. Number 19. Most people are helpful. Let them help. Most people are helpful. Let them help. If you are in a foreign country and making a complete ass out of yourself trying to buy something at the grocery store, ask random people for help, point to some things, and ask how to say it. Ask them questions. Most people are friendly and willing to help you out. Learning a language is not for shy people. Wow, I am not kind of shy people. 20. There will be lots of ambiguity and miscommunication. There will be lots of ambiguity and miscommunication. Fact of the matter is that for many words, the translations are not direct. Gusta may roughly mean to like in Spanish, but in usage, it's more nuanced than that. It's used for particular situation and context, whereas in English we use like as a blanket verb, converting anything we enjoy or care about. This subtle difference can add up, particularly in seriously or emotional conversations. Intentions can be easily misconstrued. News conversations over important matter will likely require double of effort to nail down the exact meaning of each person than it would between two native speakers. No matter how good you are in your new language, you are not likely to have complete grasp over the slight intuitive difference between each word, phrases, or idiom that native speaker does without leaving the country for years. 21. These are the phrases you go through. These are the phrases you go through. First, you are able to speak a little and understand nothing. The first, you are able to speak a little and understand nothing. Then you are able to understand far more than you speak. Then you are able to understand far more you speak. Then you become conversational. You become a conversational, but it requires quite a bit of mental effort. After that, you are able to speak and understand without conscious mental effort. You don't have to translate what in your native tongue in your mind. Once you are able to speak and listen without thinking uh, about it, you begin to actually think in a foreign language itself without effort. Once this happens, you are really hitting high level. At the final level, believe it or not, being able to follow conversation between large group of native speakers is the last pieces of puzzle of fall into place. Or at least it was for me. Once that happens, you are able to interject, come in and out of the conversational at will. Uh, you are pretty set after that. There's not really anywhere else to go without living in the country for at least a year or two and reaching complete influence. Wow. And the last one, 22. Finally, find a way to make it fun. Now, the secret is fun. As with anything, if you are going to stick on it, you have to find a way to make it fun. Find people you enjoy talking to. Go to events where you can practice while doing something fun. Don't just sit in the classroom in front of the book, and you are likely to burn you very quickly. Tell about personal topic which you care about. Find out about the person you are talking to. Make it personal. Uh, Life experience, or else you are going to be in for long unenjoyable process which will likely end up in your forgotten everything you learn. This is all of the 22 tips for learning for foreign languages from Mark Manson started. I will recap it again. Number one, conversation. Keep conversation. Number two, intensity of study trumps length of study. Number three, classes suck and are and an inefficient use of time and money. Number four, start with the 100 most common words. Number five, carry a pocket dictionary. Number six, keep practicing in your head. Number seven, you are going to say lots of stupid things, accept it. Number eight, figure out pronunciation patterns. Number nine, I use audio and online courses for the first 100 words and basic grammar. Number 10, after first 100 words, focus on becoming conversational. Number 11, aim for the brain melt. Number 12, how do you say is the most important sentence you can possibly learn. Learn it early and use it often. Number 13, one-on-one tutoring is the best mode of efficient use of time. Number 14, date someone who speaks the target language, not your native language. Number 15, if you can find someone cute who will put up with you, find your language buddy online. Number 16, Facebook chat and Google Translates. Number 17, when you learn a new word, try to use it in a few times right away. Number 18, TV show, movie, newspapers and magazines are good supplementations. Number 19, most people are helpful, let them help. Number 20, there will be lots of ambiguity and miscommunication. Number 21, these are the phases you go through. And finally, number 22, find a way to make it fun. This is all of the tips for learning for foreign language from markmanson.net. Thank you for today. See you.